we have Sean Jones on the line right now. Sean, welcome to WPFW.
So good to be with you, big bro. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Doing great. We're in the midst of a fun drive. I seem to be doing well on my goal tonight. And,
wonderful.
And let's ask you a little bit about how did you get into this music we call jazz? What got you started?
Oh my gosh! Well, I started in the church. I make a joke that I grew up playing in the church 9 days a week, 365 days, 397 days a year. I was in there all the time. And
boy,
that set a distinct foundation for me. And I was fortunate enough to have great teachers growing up. And fast forward with a lot of wonderful opportunities and failing forward, I'm here with you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Warren, Ohio, which is right outside of Akron, Ohio.
Right, okay,
I'm thankful for that upbringing, yeah.
Right. I could see that church with the album Roots that we have on right now, with all the inspirational music that you have on it. Yes. So
that was designed, and that album was sort of designed to be like a sort of like a just a prose version of a church service, from start to end, and I'm really, every time I hear it, I'm reminded of my upbringing. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. So you're currently heading up the program at Peabody as a part of Johns Hopkins. Tell us about how that connection was made.
Oh my gosh, it's such a long story that I'm just going to do my best to paraphrase.
Sure.
And that a series of events happened in my life back in 2017, where I was looking to make a change in life and dive further into leadership and also make a lot of personal changes. And the opportunity came about, and I decided to dive in and do my best to make sure that there was a solvent jazz program in America's oldest conservatory. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
The Peabody School of Music and Dance is the oldest conservatory in the United States.
No,
And what I thought, and what I thought to myself was, what would it mean for this country if the oldest conservatory of music and dance did not have a viable program for its indigenous art form? That would be a tragedy, in my opinion. So I decided to do the hard work and get in there, and we started with 6 students, and now we're at almost 80 with a fully funded master's program. So
that's fantastic. That really is. Yes. No, it's so important. In terms of the university programs. You have some DC folks on faculty up there, don't you? Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, we're on faculty. We have Chris Fun on bass. We have Nasser Abadé on drums. We also have Allison Miller, who is a Maryland native,
sure.
on drums
absolutely.
as well.
Wow, okay.
Alex Brown is on piano. Richard Johnson is also on piano there here, who has some Maryland roots. So many people may not know that, but he does.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Warren Wolf, who is basically our artillery person.
Sure.
He does everything.
Everything, absolutely. Yes.
Sharonay Wade, who went to school in Maryland. Fran Vielma on percussion, who lives in D.C. And who am I missing? Javier Nero, who is a recent implant, and he's in one of our military bands. And we're just excited about what's going on here. We're just really excited. And they are most of them have either local connections or they are from here and live here. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. So how do you balance your academic responsibilities with your performance life? Since obviously as a jazz musician you have to keep that career going as a performer.
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing is that they honestly feed one another. I think that sometimes we think of them as being siloed parts of our profession, but if you are an artist, you are inherently a sharer. And if you are a sharer, you are inherently an educator. When I'm educating, I consider myself to be someone that is sharing what I know while simultaneously growing and learning from our students. So it's the mentor-mentee relationship the mentor's responsibility is to guard the student and protect the student as much as they can from the pitfalls that we've all experienced through just living life. And it's our job to prompt and curate the excitement, the advancement, and the creations of the generations to come. You know, culture is a balance of tradition and trend. Traditions are things that have stood the test of time, that have proven to be useful to us over time. Trends come along to buck those traditions and say, hey, maybe we should think of a new way. And that is how we advance as human beings, being rooted and grounded in our traditions while understanding that if we are to grow, we are to move beyond them when it is appropriate to do so.
Absolutely. Who were some of the older musicians mentoring you as you were coming up?
Oh, my gosh. I have to tell you, brother, I am so blessed to have worked with Jimmy Heath, Gerald Wilson, Illinois Jaquette. I was in his band. Yeah, Illinois Jaquette. The list just goes. I mean, it really truly does go on and on. Arturo O'Farrell.
Okay, sure. Wow. Okay.
For 2 years. Manny Oquendo from Cuba Libre. And those folks took me under their wings, and they really were blessings to my life. But also in my local community growing up. Jessica Turner, my 6th grade band director, who gave me my first jazz CD. Rich Rollo, who taught me how to read, would stay after school to teach me how to read music because I was deficient in that area. Lynn Marlin, Brenda Romack, who taught me something that I still share to this day. She said, never give 100% because that's all you got.
Absolutely.
So
no.
I had great teachers. So I had great teachers, I've always been drawn to teaching.
Fantastic. No, I understand it. You know, I had a whole career as a union representative, but in addition to doing radio, I've been teaching jazz history courses at Georgetown, American University, and currently for the last decade or so, well, not quite that long, I've been at the University of the District of Columbia, where Alan Johnson directs the jazz program. He's one of the busiest pianists. He's up in Baltimore tonight with a CD release performance.
Oh, my God.
You know,
when I tell you, he has the spirit of the universe in his hands. Yeah. I mean, he's absolutely incredible. I mean, he reminds me of Harold Mayburn, McCoy Tyner. Those folks had that serious left hand.
Absolutely,
no. He is so great, yeah.
No, so the music program's part of the university. Just awesome. Fred Irby's retiring after 50 years of heading up the Howard program, but he set up that Benny Golson Award, and boy, lots of tributes to the late Benny Golson been coming down, and all the honorees of that award has just been fantastic. So the academic connection has really been important for the music. But in terms of performance, so tell us what you have coming up.
Well, in a couple days here, we're going to be at Baltimore at the Caton Castle. I mentioned Alex Brown; he's going to be on piano. I didn't mention Quincy Phillips, who's a dear brother of mine.
Sure.
He's going to be on drums. And we have Obasi Okoto, who is a wonderful musician and writer and composer, played with Elvin Jones. He's going to be on bass. And we have one of our students who is going to be graduating here. He's part of a sort of a darling duo. I call them the darling duo in the DMV, the Ephraim. They're not twins, but I call them twins sometimes. Evan and Ephraim Dorsey. Ephraim is going to be playing tenor saxophone, and we're going to be doing a tribute to Lee Morgan. And Lee Morgan was a huge influence on me growing up. In fact, like I mentioned earlier, one of my teachers gave me a Lee Morgan record in the 7th grade.
What was that? Boy.
It was Cornbread.
Okay. Ooh,
cornbread.
Yeah. I pulled out, since you were doing a Lee Morgan tribute, I have Infinity because of the musicians that are on it. You know, just I kept thinking my grandson jumping off a table saying "To Infinity and Beyond." And I didn't realize it's part of a movie, but it's been one of my favorite Lee Morgans. But there's so many Lee. And I'm telling him my age because I actually saw Lee Morgan perform at Crampton Auditorium. Man, it was just incredible.
Wow, I can't even imagine.
You know.
I mean, I listen to Lee Morgan all the time, and we're going to be doing selections from many of his albums, but we're excited to play some of the selections from the Live at the Lighthouse album.
Oh, of course,
one of my favorite records.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, that record, oh my God.
Well, I got the.
Oh my God, Big Brother Rusty! Have you heard that new recently released box set?
I was going to tell you about that. I got all of those selections. I've been featuring them on my show here also. But we're going to hear some Lee before after I play some more of your music. But we're in the midst of a fundraiser here, Sean, and I want you to tell the folks why it's so important to support WPFW in terms of what we do with the music.
Well, it's like what Art Blakey said. You have to support the music so that we can keep appearing, so that we can keep appearing and not disappearing. We realize that we live in a society that is driven by the economics, by capitalism, and because we all live in this system, it is incumbent upon us to share in the variances of our wealth. And what I mean by wealth is I'm not talking about financial riches only. I'm talking about prioritizing the finances that come into our households towards the things that make our lives inherently better and enriched. And those of us that love this music, we know that we are enriched because of it. We are thoughtful because of it. We are curious because of it. It's important to support the sonic overlay of the music throughout our culture, and it has to be on the radio station. It has to be in the streaming services. It has to be in the varying avenues of presentation that we have, whether it be live performances or performances that are through the airwaves. And so when the money is there, then we can support ourselves and we can enjoy one another. We understand the importance of supporting the local grocery store by going there and buying groceries. We understand the importance of making sure that our light bill is paid. Well, what about our mental health?
Absolutely.
What about feeling good when you get home at night and you've had a long day?
So, folks,
that's why we need to give some money.
Sean, you said it all. 202-588-9739 is the number to call, or online at WPFWFM.org. And when you see him Saturday at Caton Castle, thank Ron Scott for his generous contribution to the station last Thursday for my show.
Yes, and Brother Rusty, I want to say something right now. I would challenge your listeners. I'm going to do something right now, and we haven't talked about it, but I support WEAA.
Sure, of course.
And Brother Shaheed.
Absolutely,
there. I'm going to do the same thing for you right now, and I'm going to pledge $1,000.
Ooh, wow!
To the station right here, right now.
WPFWFM.org. Or call it in. Wow, I am in awe. Thank you so much, Sean. That is awesome.